Hello students, so our today's topic is shadows. So how a shadow is formed? See, when an object is placed in front of a source of light, suppose this is an object, this tree, and this is a source of light. What is that? Sun. So then a dark patch is formed if light cannot pass through that object. So see, this thing has blocked the passage of light, as a result of which a dark patch is formed, that is the shadow of this tree. So the dark region formed behind the object, so this is the object, and behind which a shadow is formed. So the dark region formed behind the object through which light cannot pass is a shadow. Look at this image. So at first you can see that this is an opaque object. This is a door and which is opaque. So this opaque object does not allow the light to pass through it. So it forms a clear dark shadow. See, this is the clear dark shadow. Whereas the translucent object forms a lighter shadow, as you can see here, as it partially blocks the light, means little bit light pass through it. Next, a transparent one, this is the transparent one, it does not block the light, hence it does not form shadow. So no shadow forms in case of transparent object. Light shadow forms in case of translucent object, and dark shadow forms in case of opaque objects. So the definition of a shadow can be like this. A shadow is a dark region formed by an opaque or a translucent object. So three things are required for a shadow to be formed. What are they? First is light source. Second, a translucent or opaque object. And the last one is a screen where we can see the shadow. Do you know the shadow of an object is the longest during the morning and evening and shortest during the noon? This is because the rays of the sun are slanted in the morning. Suppose this is 6 a.m. and here is the sun. So it is slanted. So the shadow that will be formed by this stick is long. Even in case of evening time also, when here is the sun, so its rays are slanted. So that time also the shadow of the stick is long. But in the noon time, it is just straight above the head here. So it forms shortest shadow during the noon. So the shape of a shadow depends on from where the light is falling from. Next, when the source of light is closer to the object, suppose this is light source and this is object, so they are quite close, both light source and the object, then it forms big shadow. Here you can see on the screen it forms big shadow. Or we can say in this manner also that when the screen, this is the screen, and the object is quite away or quite far from each other, then also it forms big shadow. So to form big shadow, either the light source and the object need to be close, or the object and the screen need to be away from each other. Then only it will form big shadow. Now the question is, when the shadow becomes small, see, when the source of light, that is this bulb, is far from the object, So this is the object, it is quite far. Or we can say this screen is close to the object. This is the object and this is the screen. So they are quite close. Then it will form small shadow. Now let's read about the characteristics of a shadow. So a shadow is always formed on the opposite side of the light source. That is, wherever is the light source, on its opposite side, a shadow is formed. Shadows are always dark. So you know the shadows are always dark in color. A shadow shows only the outline of the shape of the object and not the detail. Yes, suppose if our shadow is formed, then in the shadow we cannot see our eyes, nose, ears, all such things. So we can see the outline of our body. Next, the size of the shadow depends on the distance between the light source and the object, and also on the distance of the screen from the object. So this one I have already explained, that how the shadow becomes big or small. So how the shadow is longest during the morning and evening and shortest during the noon. That means the size of the shadow depends on the three objects, that is the distance between the light source, the object, and also on the distance of the screen from the object.